Good morning. Happy Sunday. It's another bright and beautiful sunny day. It's supposed to get into the mid 80s today. Delicious and delightful. I've been told once again that I'm wrong. I was wrong about the I eat ass because the prosecuting attorney, well, for various reasons. I was just told I was wrong about it. So I was kind of shocked, so I went back and watched the video. And no, I never said that the I eat ass guy should be or would be convicted of it. So I don't know exactly why I was wrong. Maybe people think I'm wrong because the prosecuting attorney decided not to bring charges. Well, my answer to that is, number one, what test did the prosecuting attorney use to determine that it was improper to bring charges on it? Could it have been the Miller test? I bet it could. And number two, if the prosecuting attorney had decided to bring charges, would you take that as a sign that it was, in fact, offensive speech, which could, would, and should be banned under the Florida Sunshine Statutes, or not the Florida Sunshine Statute, but the Florida Obscenity Statutes? I'll bet you wouldn't take that as a sign of anything, especially considering the cretins who like to tell me I'm wrong, because generally speaking, they're fucking retarded. And I do mea culpa when I screw up, so, I mean, of course I'll ignore that too, that I did a mea culpa yesterday. But anyway, I guess that's just my lot in life, is to be surrounded by idiots. And it's fine, I collect them like bobbleheads. The second thing that they do to try to show how I was wrong is they show in other places, in other states, that people have said similar things and have been found to have been engaged in protected speech. And that's great. That's great. What the Miller test does, though, is the Miller test talks about what the average person in that local community, in the community where the censorship is taking place, looks at what that person believes. It looks at the state laws. So, different person from a different state would be a different community and different state laws. The obscene language, the obscene sexual act, the prurient interest has to be defined in the state statute. One state might have a definition that's different than another state that catches different language. And what people find offensive in San Francisco is completely different than what people will find offensive in Buffalo, Oklahoma. I know that's hard for people to understand, but there's a reason why you don't look to what other communities have done for the Miller test. So it doesn't really matter what the prosecutor said, because if it was against you, you'd ignore it. And just because it's for you doesn't mean that a judge in a courtroom would make the same determination. And again, I'm not faulting the prosecuting attorney for declining to bring charges. That is his job, to decline to bring charges if he feels that he can't win the case, if he feels there isn't probable cause. So good on him. And again, I don't like the offensive words doctrine offensive speech. So that's the other thing. In Cohen v. California, and I did bring that up because that's the fighting words doctrine, which also takes speech out of First Amendment protection. And the court there held that fuck the draft is fine. But the court has also said in other cases that, that language that tends to incite an immediate breach of the peace can be banned as fighting words. And maybe it's the way they phrase it. Maybe they should have said fighting statements, fighting ideas, communicating fighting ideas. But idiots seem to get lost in the actual vulgarities. Yes, the court did in fact say that one man's vulgarity is another man's lyric. And that's fine, because the court isn't banning vulgarities. They aren't banning swear words. Fuck the draft has political value. But walking up to someone and saying, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass right now, boy. Well, that's probably fighting words. It's not the swear word in there. That's not the defining feature. And that's what idiots continuously get wrong. It's the idea that's expressed. That gives you the fighting words. But it's actually fighting speech. It's communicating a fighting idea. The same thing with obscene language. It's not just the swear word. Fuck Trump is not talking about a prurient interest. It's not talking about actually having sex with Trump. It's not the specific words chosen, it's the idea expressed by those words. And you could see that in Florida's obscenity law. They tell you the basic kinds of things. In Florida's obscenity law, it is God, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it's like sex acts that involve bodily excretions, like pooping or peeing, and some other things. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did glance at the Florida obscenity laws before I made that first video on Jeff Gray to see if I eat ass is in fact covered by the law, and it is. That doesn't mean I like it or that it should be enforced or that the average person in that community would find that the work as a whole appeals to prurient interests and does so in a patently offensive way. So it doesn't matter what the attorney said. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter for that guy getting charged, but the next guy with the next identical sign on his truck could possibly be charged and convicted. We don't know. Because we don't know what the average member of that community thinks, or whether whether Florida's obscenity law is specific enough in its description. So it's not determinative of the state of the law as a whole, what that attorney thinks. And it doesn't matter at all what somebody in a different state has done or been allowed to do. Zero value. Does not add anything to the conversation. And swear words aren't the defining thing. There's that meme of a English gentleman where he says, instead of tits or get the fuck out, it's, kindly please expose thine memories, or perchance takest thyself out of the room. He says vulgar things in a using what people think is more old-timey English. It's the idea that's being communicated that's important, not the specific words chosen to communicate that idea. And that's the case for fighting words, just like it is for the offensive speech doctrine, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I've rambled long enough, I think. I think everybody's poops have been pooped. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.